Welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Talk podcast with JV
Hey.
and Millie, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about the recent Pokémon event for the shiny Wooloo and how Animal Crossing could perhaps take a few things away from this to kind of really get people picking up the game again and engaging. So that is the main topic that we are going to focus on today. Now, JB, I know you've been enjoying the Wooloo event, but you've still not got it, right?
No, so I think they released it to a point where there were 3 rotations of the shiny dens, so I think 3 days in total. And I've not been able to do it at all, like, in all fairness though, because, and this is kind of leading on to my point, I had burnout from Pokemon for it must have been like 3, 4, maybe even 5 months. It's been well over half a year since I've even picked up the game or really thought about it. But this raid really got me back into it because not only was it a community-centric event, but it was also a shiny Pokemon that I really, really like. And I'm just thinking, in order for me to get back into Animal Crossing at this late stage in the game, like heavily, would be a massive, substantial update. And it's like, well, it didn't need that for Pokemon. Pokemon just managed to win me over with a limited time event. So it's like, could Animal Crossing find that middle ground?
See, what I think is quite important about, or at least how it's coming across to me with this event, is that the reason you picked it up is because it was a limited time thing. Now, I think the issue with the Animal Crossing updates, I haven't played for a few updates now, and it's okay, they'll be there when I get back onto it, or almost, I sometimes feel like it's all just been a bit too much. There's too many updates and too many items, and I just missed when it was a simple island. So perhaps one thing that you've been saying there is because it was time sensitive, you had to pick the game up that weekend. You had to do it that weekend. Perhaps Animal Crossing could benefit from some functionality like that, almost that it's time locked. You won't be able to time travel to it after the event, but Red is going to turn up with a new piece of artwork that is really rare to complete the museum, and you need to be there that weekend or you're not going to get it for another year or something like that, or it's not even guaranteed you will get it. You just have to hope that he turns up with the bow, or there's going to be a new visitor time locked for this weekend only or something like that. So people actively do have to pick that game up.
Yes, but I think that's what I don't like about Animal Crossing, to be honest. I understand Bunny Day and being time locked and stuff. I understand quite a lot of things. Obviously seasonal events. I guess it'd be a bit weird if you could just keep generating items from something, like a Christmas item in, August. It'd be a bit weird. But I think what I really liked about this Pokemon event and how they did it is that it was for the shiny Wooloo. So for that 3-day period, you have a more increased chance of finding one. Although after the event's over, you can kind of chain encounter these shiny Wooloos, or these Wooloos, to increase your chances of doing a shiny if you want to do it that way. Or you can Masuda method breed, a non-shiny Wooloo with a foreign language Ditto for an increased chance of getting a shiny Wooloo. So it's not that once the event's over, that's it. It's like, okay, here's just an alternate route. So if you do miss the event, there is an opportunity, but this is the easiest time. So what I was thinking is there some way that a character like Raymond could be brought into circulation? Like, if you use this deluxe Nook Mile ticket that you can craft in bulk by fusing 2 Nook Mile tickets together, you've got a 5% chance of finding a Raymond or something like that. And that, in conjunction with being able to just hop from one mystery island to another, I don't know. I think that could be the solution, but obviously then there's only 2 or 3 Animal Crossing characters without an amiibo card, so it would just be I don't know, a bit moot at the end, or maybe even take away from the value of Raymond.
I mean, like you said, because there's a few that don't have Animal Crossing cards, perhaps you could do it for those. Because Raymond does... Is it Raymond that does have the amiibo?
Yeah, but then you've run out after 3 or 4, like I said. I don't know. It would have to be limited, and then I don't know who would come back for that.
Yeah. I think the key things that we're taking away from here is that it does need to be something that's a limited time event. Something else that I take away from these Pokemon events personally is that it gets people reaching out to each other in the community. I know you often contact one of your friends when there's this kind of raid thing going on, like, you know, let's give each other codes, let's try and help each other out here. Perhaps Animal Crossing's community, I mean, Animal Crossing has such a strong community that I don't want to say anything even slightly to be construed as negative, but something that almost brings people encouraging other players back as well. So for example, our friend Scurvy got burnt out from the game for a little while. If there was an update and say you needed to collect things from different islands, you know, we could very much encourage them to get back into the game. So I think something like that may also help.
Could there be, and I would actually like this, if they're going to phase time travelling out of the kind of meta game, you know, like physically going into your system and changing the time, I would like it if they would introduce like time travel islands. So say they could only do this maybe once every 3 months or once every 4 months, maybe even a bit more frequent. But like, you know, good news, if you use this like Parve ticket that you can get from the Nook ATM, you'll be given like a 5% chance of touching down on an island that's celebrating Festival at this time of year.
Yes.
Because then, like, I would love a way to be able to go and get more Festival cannons, maybe in Festival DIYs. Again, with Bunny Day, surprisingly enough, I don't think that I had enough chance this year to get all the eggs and craft everything I wanted. So to go to an island, you know, it'll be on a very rare chance where you can shake trees, chop down, you know, trees and stuff to like get these eggs. I think that would be cool.
I mean, I'd agree with you. I think that would be good because time traveling, and even time traveling, has its issues that you ruin your island because weeds just sprout up everywhere. Your villagers get upset and you lose friendship points with them because you've not spoken to them for a while. Some may move out. So ultimately, there are negatives attached to time traveling. So to do something different like that would certainly be helpful. But I also think, one of the key elements is it'd have to be time locked. So, you know, for this weekend only, you can buy Parve tickets at Nook ATM. Instead of being 2,000 Nook miles, they're going to be 5,000 Nook miles, and you get a 1 in 10 chance of visiting an island where Parve is there, and there's going to be the feathers floating around, so you can speak to them, you can catch your feathers, all that kind of thing.
I guess the only issue with that kind of idea that I've given, which I do like still, is that it doesn't really incorporate much from like a community aspect. Like, it's just you could do it offline and just fly around yourself, whereas the max raid dens can, you know, bring people in. And it's also quite a nice, I guess, content creator event, because I was like effing and jeffing and I was cursing my heart out when I saw that these, you know, raids popped up and it was like a link code. And I just hate it when people do that. I really do. I just think I was just raging. But from a content creator point of view, I could imagine someone on Twitch setting a link creator code for in their like community to go, okay, we're gonna like, you know,
try and help you all get this.
Yeah, try and help you all get this. Here's this link code, and if they've got a decent following, I could imagine like setting it as your goal to make sure that like the stream doesn't end until everyone in that chat at the time has one of them.
Yeah, that's
and I
sweet.
like that aspect a lot, and I just think that if like some Animal Crossing streamers could get in on something like this, like there's a reason to join someone's stream. There's interactive. I can't even speak. There's interactive aspects. I just think that would be good, but I don't think that this is the type of game that can warrant it, because at the end of the day, it's like a life simulator.
Yeah.
It's peaceful. Like, obviously, there's not going to be any like collective battling. It's just going to be maybe. Okay, there's more of a chance of getting freckles this week. Okay.
And I think one of the issues that Animal Crossing has to kind of give it that interaction with other other islands and other people in the community is that the internet is very poor for the game. You quite often get kicked off people's islands. It's a very unstable connection, I think, for that game compared to some others. So I feel like that in itself would risk people getting even more burnout and even more anger towards the game.
You're like, to me, I think Animal Crossing has got to a stage where it's just a massive headache to even think about. Like, I love collecting the amiibo cards. I love collecting the toys, looking for plushies, and obviously KK Slider. I'm a huge KK Slider stan. And I do like watching. In fact, I've actually got to a stage where I enjoy watching Animal Crossing more than I enjoy playing it and coming up content. We've mentioned this ages before, so I'm not going to go over it again. But I've got more fun Animal Crossing ideas that I want to do for a video in my head than things that I want to do that isn't a video. But honestly, like, I was in TJ Burns' stream a few days ago, and he was just, villager hunting. And I say just villager hunting because I guess I'm kind of used to it now because we've done quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
But just that thought of watching someone else do it, and then you've got something to root for. Like if TJ says, I really want ketchup, for example, then it's like, oh my gosh, is he going to get ketchup? Is he not going to get ketchup? And there's a narrative that you can follow. But
See,
playing it personally, I'm just like, yeah, okay.
I mean, the issue for us with Dreamy Hunting now is we've finished our amiibo collection. We've got 2 more cards arriving on Monday, so tomorrow, and then it's done. And so it's like, well, why would you need to Dreamy Hunt? You can scan in an amiibo. Why? I don't know. I feel like it does lack purpose a lot.
Yeah.
But ultimately, see, events like this, I wouldn't want them to do an event bringing in new things because I already feel quite overwhelmed with the game. Like I said, I miss having a really simple island when I'm really excited that I've just got a new DIY because it's something else that I can use. Whereas now it's just so many things that I can't even begin to process how much there is, what I can use it for. I don't know. Like I said, in June when our exams are over and things, I think I want to almost stream just restarting the island because I do genuinely miss that.
I just wish that there was something to build ranks within your island that is beyond just like a generic star rating. Like within these raids, you have a chance to see. I don't want to say battle, but I keep going back to battling. Whatever equivalent Animal Crossing will be,
How about?
And you have a chance to drop a bronze to gold star or a gold badge that you can give to an islander, so you can say, "Hey, I've got all my dreamies, and they've all got gold badges."
I was gonna say like an islander's happiness rating, so you could go to Isabel and the chart almost comes up of how happy or sad an islander is. It could be that when you next speak to an islander, they're like, "Oh, I had a call from home, things aren't good." And so that day when you go and see Isabel, the islander's happiness rating's lower. So you then go and give gifts to bring the happiness rating up, or you go and talk to them, or something like that.
Yes, yeah, and they've got that in the game, theoretically, if they just, let them express how close you are to getting a portrait or something.
Yeah, and for me as a player, I've never got a portrait. I don't find that attainable. I just can't track it in the same way. I don't know why. So yeah, I guess a physical chart of that happiness or friendshipness would actually be really helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear what people think of in the comment section down below, because it's a topic that it's like, and here's the thing, I don't want this to be labelled as an Animal Crossing podcast, although you labelled it as like an Animal Crossing podcast in the Trivial Pursuit.
I said it originated in Animal Crossing.
And you know what, I'd much preferred recording for this when it was us in the studio in Animal Crossing. I like this a lot as well, but I preferred it back then. But the reason why we've done this in the first place is to not seem like an Animal Crossing podcast. But I think it's definitely become that a lot more in the last few weeks, because there's either the Build-A-Bears or there's something to complain about Animal Crossing. And now on this occasion, it's kind of like the scene is kind of dead with Nintendo gaming, what I'm seeing, because we ordered Miitopia, and that still hasn't arrived. Maybe we would have spoken about that if it had. Pokemon Snap's good, but it's like, I'm so far behind with that. So the only one that I can fall back on is really Animal Crossing, and there's just nothing to talk about apart from, I've just got into Pokemon, so...
I think with you saying that Nintendo community is a bit dead right now, I think people are awaiting E3.
Maybe.
And that might be why things are seeming a little bit slow on the Nintendo front right now. But
I mean, just Animal Crossing in general. It got to the stage where there was one time, at least every month, where we were staying up till past midnight to see the new NPC at Harv's Island. There was new DIY recipes. There was just always something new. And now, in order to make the game feel vibrant, you've had to sit at a desk for 6 hours to make up trivia questions, so that we can get with our friends and enjoy the game finally after a while. So, and that was fun. That's the most fun I've had in Animal Crossing
for a long time.
A long time. Please do check that video out. We had Curry, Dune, Lauren, they're so close to 1,000. TJ Burns, who we've just mentioned, they're awesome, and Amy Games. That was a great video, and I think we should do more of them, because I know people really do like it when we do Animal Crossing stuff. But in terms of just the game itself, I'm like, I can't think of anything that I'd rather do less.
I guess for anyone watching this who's like, I just wish they did more Animal Crossing content, why they're not doing as much Animal Crossing content, comment below what Animal Crossing content you want to see, because like we said, we are a little bit just drawing a blank with this game right now. It's like, what do you do? How do you make it entertaining? Almost how do we play it to record without falling asleep sometimes?
Well, it's ridiculous though, because I like island tours. I definitely think we've slipped up on island tours lately.
Sorry guys.
And we should do more, and I like doing them, but it just annoys me because there's so many nice people in the community, and when we're doing stuff like Vivid Voltage openings or just Pokemon in general or anything else that isn't Animal Crossing, they'll like come into the premieres and they'll think that we're like having this, not mental breakdown, but they'll think that something's gone terribly wrong with us, like, oh my gosh, like, why is this not Animal Crossing? What happened to all the Animal Crossing? Are you guys okay? Are you... And it's like, yeah, we're fine. And I would have understood it if we were like
Animal Crossing originators.
Like Console Cato, who's done amazing things with Animal Crossing. You know, they've got thousands and thousands of views doing Animal Crossing, and that's awesome, because I think that that's one thing that they're really good at.
To the point where a video that was the only video that they've made that wasn't about Animal Crossing was literally called "This is an Animal Crossing," right there in the title.
Yeah, and I'd understand that, but we've never been an Animal Crossing channel. Like, we started with Mario Kart, we then did book reviews, and we obviously did go completely nuts with island tours, like 50 in a row over the summer. But that's like going back a year. Since then, it's been Home Circuit, more Mario Kart, more Pokemon. Obviously, like, I think Animal Crossing is a more consistent viewer base. But also, I'd argue that the more consistent views have been with, say, Jurassic World Evolution or something like that. Like, we're all over the place with Nintendo stuff, and it's just like, when people are just coming in thinking like, and obviously I think it's genuine concern. Like, I think this is a good community, but when people are like typing, oh, what's wrong? What happened to all the Animal Crossing stuff?
We're kind of feeling the pressure to do Animal Crossing, but it's also like, what do we do?
It's like, we don't know. Tweet at Nintendo, ask them what happened to all the Animal Crossing and stuff. Like,
what happened to the game?
Like, the second Nintendo puts stuff out, we'll be right there. Trust me.
Like we said, comment below what you'd like to see. There are a couple of options out there. Like JB said, more island tours. I've not done an island speed build for a while. I do admittedly need to do one for Coney Island on our Gatsby Island, and I kind of want to restart mine. I also want to replay the Trivial Pursuit before I restart it. So I guess if there's any creators out there that would like to play the game, maybe if you're in the stream, if you're in the comment section of this, then just comment that below, because I think that's something that I would like to set up before I ultimately clear that island. So
yeah, we're always up to collab. Always up to collab.
Just let us know in the comments, guys, what it is you want to see, because we're a bit stumped, admittedly.
And yeah, just don't be scared, because it doesn't matter if you've got 20 subs or 20,000 subs or anything in between or beyond and under. Just get in touch with us, because I really like seeing new channels.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's fair to say that when we were at like 100 subs, we had some people, should I say, that were quite amazing in collabing with us and helping us out to help us get to where we are. So
I mean, I think the community's become a lot more shut off in terms of content creators now. Like, if you don't find a good group, not relatively quickly, but eventually, you just end up feeling so on the outside of things, because I think it's very... Some communities are very shut off in that, like, if you haven't collabed with this person, then you're not worthy of support, or if you don't make this type of content, then you won't be, like, backed up. It gets a bit like that sometimes, but I feel like we have found a nice group.
I mean, it's amazing. When we came up with the Trivial Pursuit board game, we literally dropped a message in a group chat with the creators that JB mentioned, and they were all just incredible. Like, TJ was like, got a really busy week, and to be fair, if you've seen his second channel, Simply Together, you'll know that he's got a busy time going right now, but instantly they're like, yeah, okay, we'll I'll work it out. The time on the day I'll have to let you know, but we can do this. And just, you know, a great group. And it's important to find that. So like we said, if you're a creator looking to collab, then we've got that Trivial Pursuit board game that we really want to replay, or indeed any other collabs you can think of.
So I guess now it's time for
the
some Q&A. And we've actually got quite a few this week, and this is what amazes me. I remember trying to do a Q&A when we hit 100 subscribers, and I put a tweet out, I put an Instagram out, and we got 0 questions. And now we've been doing like weekly Q&As with 5-Star Talk for the last 7 episodes, and we've had at least 5 questions for every episode, yeah. So I'm happy.
Okay, JB, let's hear them. Let's see if Jason's around with your Mario Maker.
So the first one is, and again I'm going to keep these anonymous, unless it's Jason. Cause,
He's outing you, Jason.
If the Nintendo products didn't exist, which consoles would you guys have went with?
PlayStation. I used to have a PlayStation 2 when I was younger, and I'll admit I absolutely loved it. I can't say that I played any kind of high-ranking games, but on my PlayStation 2, I used to love the Harry Potter games. I think Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban were ones that I played quite a lot. So, little fun story that I've said a couple of times on the channel now, but I will retell it. I got a PlayStation 2 for Christmas one year and a Harry Potter game, and my brother and I were playing the Harry Potter game together, but I didn't have the memory card, so my dad had gone out to buy one, and as I pushed in the memory card, I reset all the progress that we'd made in that day, to the point where he's never played on the PlayStation with me since the launch of PlayStation 2. So the damage was done that day. But I still love PlayStation. There's a couple of games that's come out on that I would love to play, but we just don't have the console. So there's a new Harry Potter game come out that I believe is available on the PlayStation, but not Nintendo, that I'd love to play. Also, TJ Burns was playing this fun-looking survival game that I think you can get on PlayStation, but I'm not too sure. That I also wanted to try out. So yeah, for me, PlayStation. What about you, JB?
I don't feel like I know much about the other two, to the point where I'm almost tempted to say that I just wouldn't be playing anything in general.
You'd go back to reading?
I think I'd either go back to reading or collecting, or honestly, I wouldn't be against PC gaming, because I used to love playing the nostalgic games. I had the Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix game, the Madagascar game, obviously Spore, and even stuff like old Scooby-Doo CD-ROMs like What a Night for a Night, where you just played through a story, and just stuff like that. I had even when I was a kid, the Land Before Time colouring game, and not I'd just be sat there putting hours into colouring in dinosaurs, but I could see myself browsing the Steam shop for quite a while and finding a few things that I really like.
I mean, we were a bit disappointed when we went on Steam a couple of days ago, because we wanted to find a bit of a nostalgic Harry Potter game and couldn't.
No, although you could find some cool stuff there. What could we find? We found some Lego Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Spore, obviously. So yeah, I think I'd probably go more the PC route if there was no Nintendo.
Okay, next question. What
is the best thing about creating content?
Okay, I think for me personally, it's just about taking time out. I think it's fair to say that we've both been very busy with exams, and we both get quite stressed and even sometimes quite angry because the stress gets a lot. But when we sit down to record, it's regardless, when you're making a video, you go to your happy place and we just have a good time together regardless of other stress. And so I think, for all I like making content, and I love that you guys comment and we like to hear that you're enjoying it, I think ultimately it can be just an opportunity to get in a really nice space with JB and just spend some time together. Because I think if we didn't feel that we needed to make the video, it'd be, okay, well, we can just play this at any point then. It doesn't matter. Whereas when it's okay, well, we've not done a video today, we need to get a video out, it almost makes us take the time to go to that nice space again. So I think that is important for me.
I agree. It's certainly nice to get into that headspace. But I think as well, we've got way more out of this than it's ever going to take away. Obviously there's things that we'll get onto that I'll get onto personally with a future question. But in regards to this, I just think it's crazy that I've just always, my entire life, I've been such an introverted person.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this before, but we've just met so many people that it's kind of like I'm going to miss them if they ever quit or if they ever, like, left social media or anything. And it's like, I was almost probably better off, like, liking no one, like, keeping myself to myself. Because then, like, if something goes wrong, then I just won't feel sad. And now it's kind of like, there's just, I don't know, I just feel like it's made me more of a human being.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that you didn't like socialising at all. Like, you don't even like sitting at the dinner table with your family to socialise then. So, to see you checking, the JB Millie social media on, like, an hourly basis, replying to everything, you do amazingly. And I will admit that you do take most of the job with that. But, like you say, you've become... maybe not IRL, a more extroverted person, but certainly I think it's good for you.
No, I mean, I think I could become more IRL, friendly. Because, like, literally, I got so excited, even, like, looking back at when, like, the KSI concert tickets were going on, I was like, oh my gosh, do you reckon TJ will go to that, or do you think Amy's gonna go to that, like, so it could be, like, a meet-up.
It's strange, isn't it, that, like, it's the people that we've met through the channel that's you want to be more extroverted around.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't think that you can't get away from this. And this is no shade, obviously, because we upload like 3 times every day. But I feel like you have to be a certain type of kind of strange to actively... and this is in the best way possible. You kind of have... well, not strange. You kind of have to be a bit different to wake up and want to, say, film yourself recording an unboxing or film yourself recording you playing a game to then market to other people to enjoy. I think it's quite an acquired taste, and it's something that I personally really like. But it's just weird to me because we're not like doing this as like an official capacity. We're not like radio hosts. We're not, doing things on a talk show. This is in concept quite a weird thing that we're just having a conversation here, and maybe someone's gonna listen to this. Yeah. So I feel that in order to do that, you probably are going to have a genuine passion for something. So an Animal Crossing content creator will love Animal Crossing or will love Nintendo. A Pokemon channel will love Pokemon. And if you've actually taken your time out to go and watch those things, it means that you're probably really into Animal Crossing and Pokemon as well. So instantly, before you've even said your first words to each other, there's common ground. So when we first discovered, TJ, it was via one of Amy's collabs, and TJ was opening amiibo cards at the time. Right when we were,
I wish we'd known about that. That was so good.
Right when we were at our amiibo card craze, the height of it. So instantly, before I'd even uttered a word to the guy, it was, okay, we both like amiibo cards, let's talk about that. Whereas now, like, say if I'd met someone at school, at school as a young kid, you say you like Pokemon, you get a wedgie. Or, like, even going now, like, we're in, like, the legal career, if we try to, like, bond with people in our future job, like a barrister's chambers, like...
so, do you play Animal Crossing? What's that?
So, JB, I'm Fitzgerald. How was that court case? Did you enjoy that? And I was like, yeah. Do you want to come back now and play some Smash Brothers? Like, it'd be a bit awkward. So
yeah, I certainly think that our profession doesn't match us.
I enjoy the aspect of meeting people that are like-minded.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is the thing, like you said, is you go into this already knowing that you're going to have something in common with this person, and I think you're the type of person who finds it difficult to almost want to put the work in to get to know somebody to see if there's going to be that common ground, just to then establish that there isn't, and then it's like, and
even common struggles as well, because at the end of the day, we're all, and I know people like often say that they don't really focus on numbers and stuff, and that's really good. Obviously there's a lot of people that don't, but I think if I had an issue, say if views were really low, there were more dislikes than usual or no comments, then I could put a tweet out or speak to someone and they're like, oh, well, I experienced that when I first started out, but here's how I persevered, or here's how I dealt with it, or this was what I found eventually made it go away or made it improve.
I mean, I think it's fair to say at this point that we've pretty much deleted our personal social medias, and we're just about JB and Millie. Like, everyone that we've met through this is so much nicer. Like JB said, common problems, common goals, interests, all that kind of thing. It just makes it so much nicer.
Like, the world is inherently a depressing place. Like, I'd log into like personal Twitter or personal Facebook, and there'd be no good news. There'd be someone's been horrifically injured. There's some violence going on in a city. Like some celebrities have started beefing.
But you go on the JB and Millie Twitter and it's like Curry Crossings just hit 1,000 subs.
And it's like, yeah, that's awesome. And TJ managed to pull this reverse hollow, or Steelo and Cree have managed to find a booster box. And it's like, yes, this is
even
fantastic
little boosts,
stuff.
like, oh my goodness, this person's uploaded. Like, let's watch this video.
Yeah, I get so happy when people upload. Like, I almost get depressed when we go on, and this is, again, we do try and watch all of our friends' videos, although unfortunately a lot of the times when we're doing it, at least when we like to watch things together, so quite often it's on the TV, which obviously you can't comment on, but literally we get so hyped when we go through our YouTube checks and there's like an upload from people. Like, that just feels
like good. Honestly, sometimes the first thing JB will say to me in the morning is like, ooh, TJ Ben's uploaded on his second channel, like, let's watch this. Like, good morning to you too, JB. How are you?
It is good. It is really good. Okay. And that kind of brings us on to the next question, which is, what has been the hardest thing about creating content?
I think sometimes motivation. Like, I think it's fair to say that we haven't been half-hearted with anything that we've done. We've set alarms for 5 a.m. to set up island tours with people that are in America and work full-time. We've definitely plugged a lot of finance into the channel. Like, we may not have done that full amount before. Like, for example, Home Circuit, I don't think something that I personally would have got if it wasn't for the channel, and I think just a couple of other games as well that I probably wouldn't have been as interested in. So I think there's certainly been a financial draw, and like we said, a motivational draw as well, just because life's been, COVID's got a lot of people in a bit of a depressed states on occasion, and so to feel down and then have to try and find that energy to be like, yeah, I'll do tags, I'll do thumbnail, it's just like, oh, I don't know that I can do that today.
Yeah, I think I agree with the financial thing, especially because I was speaking to Jason a few days ago, and they were like, what's your opinion on, I think it was Abdallah, because I've tried to message Abdallah a few times and they've not replied, whereas you guys are really nice, you reply every time. And it's that argument again, it's like the big business versus small business. Yes, a big business might make things cheaper, they might be able to mass produce things and get it to you a bit quicker, but a small business, is probably going to have less customers, so they need to like give you more one-on-one attention. And I like that, but there is a limit, there is a downside. For all we will actively reply to every comment and every DM that we can find. Unfortunately, some do get filtered out. But for all that is a case, in terms of unboxings, I think look, there's a lot of things that we have on order. There's a lot of things that we've recorded and not uploaded, so don't be scared. But I think we have got to a stage now where, unless there's a new game that's launched, like Metopia, that's like kind of a big one that we're really interested in, we're going to get to a stage on the channel where there's going to be 6 solid months, if that, without any new unboxing whatsoever. Now, I want to do showcases. Like, we've got a load of old Pieceworks cards that we've already bought that I want to go, hey, check this out. Again, some old Pokemon cards that we found that I'm like, hey, check this out. But in terms of unboxings, there's going to be an absolute scarcity of them eventually.
Like, I would like to just clarify something that JB's saying here, in that I think he's saying that because when we reach the end of the unboxings that we've recorded, we are in a position where our new priority is we want to save for a house.
I mean, I wouldn't say that was accurate. I mean, it's accurate, obviously, that's a priority, but I think there's financial recovery before that, and obviously... Yes. Because it's not just like we're starting from zero, and we need to build up those finances into the point where, say, if we gain £100 every week, theoretically, we can put £70 aside and have £30 every week, so that's 30 times 4 every month. It's to a point where every single thing that we get will be used, I guess, to financially recover and then to build up finances. So it's not even that we've got a budget to set aside.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where I was leading with what I was saying is that things like that we want to achieve will have other videos stemming from them. So, for example, we won't have the dogs in the house, so it'll be quieter, so we could stream more.
Yeah.
There's certainly other opportunities. It's not like JB's saying, oh, we're not unboxing, so that's about 25% of our videos. It's not like, oh, we're going to upload 25% less. There are going to be other opportunities that stem from that, so the content amount's still going to be the same. But as JB said, especially until we hit 1,000 subs, there's going to have to be more financial considerations.
But there are some epic things coming up, even in terms of unboxing, like the Scott Pilgrim KO edition. It needs to arrive. We've got a big booster box of Japanese amiibo cards sat in front of us that needs to arrive. Well, that's here. For people like, Smash fans that like all the Scoob stuff, I've ordered 3 huge booster boxes all the way from Australia that were cheap as chips, but they have the potential to contain signed authentic autographs from all the main cast members from that original TV show back in 1969. So there's some hidden gems coming up, but in terms of, we're probably going to have to phase a few of them out in the future for some more videos. Like, I would love when we are financially secure, and saying that, like, if, a month ago or 2 months ago, we'd exploded on YouTube to like 1 million or 500,000. Obviously that could be fast tracked sooner, but as we're going right now, there's still things that I have that are huge videos that I want to do, like vlogging in Super Nintendo World would be a dream. That I think that would be great for us. That would be amazing for people to watch that are thinking about if they should go or not. And in terms of like the Smash community, like Smash or Pass, I really, really, really want to visit the set location for Spooky Island with Smash, and I want to vlog it. That's my dream, like, Smash or Pass video. Like, I'd ideally want to record the finale for that series, or at least so far, in Spooky Island. Just like, you remember that hotel room in Spooky Island? I would love that.
So as we can see, JB's got some big aspirations, so we're going to need a lot of views and subscribers to help him out with that.
Yeah, I'll have a little jar. So now we're on Jason. And Jason, man, your level actually last week was really good. I completed it quite quickly, but I did enjoy it, so know that. So the first question is, what did you think of the fact that World 8 Castle seemed so easy and was so short? Are you concerned that I might be running out of ideas for concepts and puzzles within my future castles? I don't think so, to be honest, because it's been so inconsistent, for lack of a better word, in that I feel that level 1 started off quite decently, level 2 was really good, and then there was a few with issues, and then there was one masterpiece, and then one that was a bit better as well. So if it was like to a point where they were getting gradually worse, I'd be really worried that you were running out of ideas. But because they're all over the place, it is possible that the next one may be the worst, but it could also be the best. So I'm not too concerned.
Maybe he's trying to get you in a false sense of security, and then you're gonna see some rising lava.
Thank you. The second one is, are you looking forward to some Thwomp lava surfing in World 9 Castle next week? I heard a rumour that one of the Thwomps you surf on is a surprise Thwomp and does the opposite to what you may expect. Thwomp surfing, to be honest, is something that I am looking forward to, because all that we've played so far is those kind of older Mario games where if you jump on the top of the Thwomps, it's just a life lost. So it was nice to know that I can kind of be a bit more strategic with them.
Yeah, certainly.
And what are your hopes for my special world castles? Honestly, just checkpoints. Now, question 3A. What are your thoughts on the fact that surprise Thwomps that crush do return in special world castles? That's not good. Question 4. Okay, and I really love this question, and you might need to get involved with this. What is your reaction to the fact that the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con Skyward Sword editions, apart from when they are eventually listed on the Nintendo UK official store, have been completely sold out for months, and that some terrible person has listed them on eBay and 4 of them have already sold for $97.99 instead of the retail price of $69.99?
Okay, I didn't know they had released in the UK yet.
I had no clue. Until Jason told me, I've no clue. And maybe it's because I only really buy things from the Nintendo UK website. But I've no clue. They announced them in that kind of direct. I've not heard anything about them since. But they are the Joy-Cons, the only Joy-Cons really, that I've looked at and gone, I need to have these.
Yeah, the design was certainly stunning. So it's a shame. And I think you're always going to get people scalping, which can be very annoying. I honestly thought that scalpers would have inflated the price higher. I just think they're so stunning. I thought they'd be more sought after, so I was worried that scalpers would be doing a lot more than like 97, so like 30 difference, but still, it's just not good. Like, you know, I think there's no way that I'm going to buy them from a scalper off eBay. I'm going to wait till I can get them in stock somewhere.
Yeah, like, it's even Nintendo UK, or I guess hard luck for us, which may be better for our finances if we can't find them, to be honest. But they are just stunning Joy-Cons, like, oh.
I mean, I was watching a Scooby-Doo podcast yesterday, and they were talking about their collection, and somebody on there said, I can't remember what she was called, she said, you know, scalpers can't scalp if people don't buy from them.
Yeah, that's true.
They're just going to be sat on a pile of stock that they can't shift. So... And it's not something that I'm desperately in need for. If it was something like life-saving, like a bottle of water or something, then maybe I'd pay a bit above the average. But I can wait. They'll make more. I can wait.
Yeah. And that is so true. Like, it literally, for all we complain about scalpers, if you buy from a scalper, you're just feeding into that. Like, no one is financially in an infinite level, you know. There's some people that are very, very, very wealthy, like, I guess Lord Sugar can probably buy everything I've ever bought in my entire life 1 billion times over without even breaking a sweat. But the difference is that these scalpers aren't these, you know, wealthy CEOs. They're just people like us. And obviously I've spent, you know, £1,000 in the last month or so. I've spent £1,000 in my life.
Don't say it.
Maybe even more. I could have spent that £1,000 on nothing but Sanrio amiibo cards. Yeah.
And got a return.
And got an amazing return. Maybe I could be sat on £2,000 profit. Maybe more, like, depending on how in demand they were. And
I've
they
seen
really
them go
were.
for 30 and they were worth 6. So that's 5 times your money. You started with 1,000, could have ended up with 5.
So, and that's the issue. Whereas if I spent £1,000 on Sanrio cards that wouldn't shift, I'm in financial hardship. Like, not only am I down £1,000, but that's also, like, say when Build-A-Bears come out later, that's £1,000 that I can't spend scalping Build-A-Bears. So even if I did make a return scalping Build-A-Bear successfully, because I've already been out of £1,000 because no one bought my scalped Sanrio amiibos,
I then can't scalp them because I don't have the money to get them in the first place.
So literally, scalpers are the one thing that are, like, ruining a lot of these kind of more hobby practices, but they're so easily defeated if we just try.
I mean, I think the key thing is just to be patient. Like, Nintendo will always restock things. So I think it's just a case of being very patient. I mean, ultimately, especially for amiibo cards, we've had to wait a long time for restocks, but they're happening. So I guess just be as patient as you can. I mean, ultimately, if you just need one card, then maybe it's good to turn things to, like, eBay, because then you don't have to keep buying multiple packs, and you could save money in the long run doing that. But just to get your hand on a pack of something or a set of something, they'll relaunch it.
But I guess just to be aware, there is a huge difference between flipping things for a profit and scalping. Like...
Yeah, I mean, for example, okay, sorry to interrupt you. If you have a copy of Mario 3D All-Stars that they stopped making after a while, and you were like, oh, do you know what? Played through it, don't want it, it's a good time, let's sell it. Selling it for a profit's different. Actively buying a crate of 50 that you know you're not going to open purely because you know that they're not going to be making those soon, so you can sell those 50 on. You paid £50 each for them, you can then get 100. For all, you know, there's people out there that's like, oh, it's just business, it's how you make profit. It's sad.
Yeah. Especially when something is going to be so scarce because of that. Like, Nintendo notoriously don't release the correct amount on launch day, from what I imagine. So
yeah, and they didn't allow themselves long enough to rectify it with something like 3D All-Stars with a limited date run.
So it's kind of mad, but again, I would love those Joy-Cons. Maybe, Jason, you can hook me up. I'll be your best friend.
Tell us where they are, Jason.
Question 5. Would you be likely to do an unboxing video if you secure the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con pair and Skyward Sword Edition?
Yes.
I would personally love to see you guys do more unboxing videos. Jason, what are you doing, man?
Sorry about what we said 10 minutes ago.
I know I'm only one person, but I like to think that we are good friends and partners that have a little bit of influence. Okay, well...
You certainly have influence. Like I said, JB, I'm quite bad because I do so much uni work that I get bogged down. But JB makes sure he goes through every single comment and every single one of them is taken into consideration. And if we get our hands on these Joy-Cons, which we are going to try our hardest to do, there isn't a doubt that we will be unboxing these on the channel. Literally everything we get, from Funko Pops to Pokemon cards, we try and unbox as much as we can. So there is no possibility that if we manage to get these, that we wouldn't unbox them.
I mean, I've just spent a few seconds scrolling down our YouTube feed, and 20 of those videos have been unboxing. So we do quite often do them. But if we manage to get the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons, I would love. Yes, that would be a great unboxing video.
Certainly.
I think that would be fantastic.
Even, just maybe even reviews, like testing them out playing a game. Do a little review video to see what we think of them, how well they work, that kind of thing. That would be really cool too. So like we said, at least an unboxing video if we manage to get our hands on them.
Yeah, but there are factors, obviously. If we can't get them because they're not in stock, then that affects it. Obviously, I doubt we'll be able to afford them. In fact, we can't really afford them now, but I'd like to do an unboxing.
Future.
What are you saying, future? Right. Question 6. What do you think to the newly announced steelbook case for Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD? I am personally really happy that it has been included with my pre-order of the game, as I was happy enough with the price that I have got the game pre-ordered at, and so the announcement of this steelbook has made me feel much better. And yes, I do have 2 copies of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD for 2 steelbooks. So I like that. My only issue is I don't like the inconsistency with steelbooks. So
Yeah.
when 3D, Bowser's Fury, when Bowser's Fury was announced to have a steelbook, I was really happy. But at the same time, I don't understand why something like 3D All-Stars didn't have a steelbook. Because if that's meant to be limited, it had no booklet, nothing to indicate that it was special. Yeah. I just think a steelbook to that would have been amazing.
Okay, so I was just looking at our game collection, and I believe the one thing that I don't like about the steelbook is that we also got a standard box with the game as well. So we have one box that's empty, one box with a game in it. I personally wish we'd just got the steelbook. I don't know if that's a silly thing to say.
Well, it's one of the first steelbooks that I had, and what my impression was stupidly was that the steelbook would hold the normal case almost like a binder or a protector.
But I do think the steel cases look really nice. Like I said, I'm looking at ads for Bowser's Fury now, and it is really cool. Really nice quality. And it's just something nice, something original that not everyone has. It certainly stands out on the kind of shelf of games. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to see what it looks like, because I've not actually seen this before, like the cover for Skyward Sword or anything.
I mean, it's interesting, but I think it's no secret that we're not really Zelda people.
Luckily, your brother is.
Yeah.
So we kind of benefit a little bit there.
So the next question is, would you be interested in doing a series or just a couple of videos every so often of my Minecraft world on the Nintendo Switch at some point down the line? There's no traps, and it is a whole lot more calming and relaxing than Mario Maker 2.
I mean, I think that would be a really good idea. We were invited a while ago, and I don't feel like we did it, to go and see someone's Minecraft world and almost showcase it, almost like an island tour. And we were going to do that, and just because time and schedules and stuff, we didn't. So I
don't think they got back to us. I think they commented on the video, and I said that we were interested, but I don't think they ever replied to that.
So I feel like something like that could be a really cool idea.
I think so. But it all depends, on when, really. But I would love that, to be honest. I'm really excited. So question 8 is, if you could add one thing to Animal Crossing New Horizons, what would it be? I would add Gracie Grace with her high-end furniture where her bed has literally cost 300,000 bells and a
Ouch.
wallpaper has been at the price of 124,000 bells. I can't even say this. 570 million bells is not going to spend itself,
I don't know how you get that much money in Animal Crossing. What are you doing? I've not even paid my house off yet. That's amazing. I think the one thing that I'd quite like is Brewster. I've heard so many people talk about them and I've never actually met them because I didn't play the older games. So for me, I guess that'd be the main thing.
I don't know. I don't know what to do about Animal Crossing right now. Like, if I could add in one thing, a part of me kind of just wants to be a bit more simplistic with it and say an extension of the basement room or of the top room. Something that allows me to use some items that are in storage. So I've got one more storage space, but also 2 more creativity to build things that I can just enjoy instead of having to fly to Harv's Island to see it and everything. So I think for me, honestly, and it would be enough to just add in another room. I would like that.
That's nice, JB.
So, oh my god, have I missed out a question? Oh no. So question 9 is, just to end off with a bit of a fun random question, when did you get your Nintendo Switch? I had a bit of fun on the 3rd of March 2017 when I first got my Nintendo Switch at launch with all of this stuff. I've never had a launch as massive as this one since that day, and my bank account sincerely thanks me to it. So, what Jason purchased on launch day was a Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, a Nintendo Switch accessory set, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Special Edition, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, oh, they've done that twice, Special Edition, okay, the Guidebook, the Collector's Edition, Link Amiibo, Link Rider Amiibo, Guardian Amiibo, Zelda Amiibo, and Bokoblin Amiibo. That's mad. How much did that cost? I'm not asking that, but jeez. So, biggest launch. Okay, so first of all, when we got on Nintendo Switch. So I got my Nintendo Switch. You can remind me when, because it was Christmas. Not last Christmas, but last Christmas.
I think it was the first Christmas that... Okay, I'm gonna say it was Christmas of... Not last Christmas. I'm so sorry, I'm bad with numbers. 2018, I want to say.
Yeah, it was the Christmas after Pokemon Sword and Shield was released, which was why I originally got the Switch for Sword and Shield, because I always like to keep up to date with all the Pokemon games. And you got yours, although we were like sharing. You got yours.
I'm not sharing it with you. I got mine last Christmas. JB was incredible and found me an Animal Crossing Switch. So.
And our biggest launch of a game, I don't think you've necessarily had one, right?
No, I've never really been that hyped for games. I've never really played too many of them, honestly. The only thing that I've ever been hyped for, like, launch-wise, is, like, a new book or a DVD. Like, I don't think I've ever, like...
DVD?
Yeah, like, when the Harry Potters first came out on DVD, getting to watch them at home, that kind of thing. Ultimately, I've never gone to a game shop on a day going, today's the day it gets released. So, I guess it's just coincidence when I've liked a game. Like, we literally picked Animal Crossing up just because we knew we needed something to get us through lockdown and people had reviewed it quite well. So I guess I've never really kind of been that kind of in suspense for a game.
No, I went on launch day for Pokemon Snap, but that wasn't really out of hype, it was more out of convenience. I would say, though, surprisingly, that my most, I guess, expensive launch day was, in fact, for Scott Pilgrim, KO Edition.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I remember that.
Because I got the game for, like, however much it was, maybe £12 on the eShop, purely because the physical edition didn't come out until, like, well, I've still not got it now, because obviously limited run games take a while, they often make things to order. But that KO edition is gorgeous. Like, it comes with this massive stand,
Yeah.
tickets to the Clash at Demon Head, drumsticks, memorabilia, a guitar plate, like was it a plectrum, a flick, like
A plectrum.
it's gorgeous, and it cost me £125, and then it cost me money to import it from America. That was my most expensive launch day, and I can't wait to showcase it on the channel.
Indeed. So you said you enjoy the unboxing, so there's going to be another one when it finally arrives.
Okay. So largest launch. Okay. Some more awesome questions. These are the last two. Well, yeah. The first question is, what is your favourite Celeste item, Gulliver item, and Toy Day item?
Okay, that's made me a little bit happy. Do you want to go first, or shall I?
My favourite Celeste item has to be, I think, that space buggy. I just wish we could get more of them.
Yeah, I was going to say I really like the space buggy. We're using them quite a lot on the Gatsby Island, but they're just so difficult to craft. If anybody has spare tyres, star fragments, or something else, anybody has anything that you use to make them, please drop them off on our island. I need them so badly. But ultimately, my favourite item has to be the Nova Lights. They're incredible to just have at any part of your island, because I often used to find, and this is going to sound really silly, that I used to play Animal Crossing a lot at night, but I couldn't play it when the light was on because of screen brightness and stuff. So I used to physically need to sit in a dark room when the island was dark, and I just used to like having the Nova Lights to brighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of may need to backtrack just because I feel like that's something that can be used all year. It's functional, it looks great. I like that.
Thank you.
Gulliver item. I've never really got any good Gulliver items, to be honest, but there's one that I really want, and I think it's not the Statue of Liberty. Stonehenge, yeah. That's the one that I really want to get.
Yeah, me too. Although the Statue of Liberty does look incredible, and for kind of urban core islands, they've used that so well. Yeah.
And Toy Day item.
Toy Day item. Oh.
I think the dinosaurs for me, or the puppy. The puppies.
Are we in Toy Day? Are we taking it as far as to say the sleigh that you get at the end, or are we just looking at toys?
Toy Day.
Because I think favorite toy would have to be the helicopter, just because I feel like we did an urban island where we were just stood looking up at a view, and I think the creator had run around the back and set the helicopters to lift up. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And it just looked amazing.
Like skyline stuff.
Yeah, it was incredible. So ultimately, I think that'd be my favourite toy, but I don't think anything can beat the sleigh for the event itself.
I like that. So, another question is, how do you feel about law school tests?
They're awful. We have 4 left, and then providing we've passed them all, no resits, then we have finished.
Yeah.
And we are graduates, and we are masters of law.
They're like,
and it's awful.
They're like the Jason levels of IRL. Like, they're just the bane of my existence, and I hate them. So I think this is a different one. How you chose your Among Us personas.
Ooh. Okay.
So I don't really think we did choose, did we? We kind of based it on the channel, right?
So your Among Us persona is you are the orange character with a little flower in your hair, and that replicates JB perfectly. I mean, if you guys can see the screen right now, his look in Animal Crossing, which is what this is stylized off, is the orange suit with the little flower in his hair, and it just lined up so well. I guess my Millie one is just, I love red. I think it's always been one of my favourite colours. So it just happened that way.
Yeah. And in terms of persona, like you are the worst person for that game. Because whenever it's you know that our friendship group always suspects me. So whenever it's you always just blame it on me, and then I get ejected first. And I don't like it.
I mean, I don't want to give my strategy away because I've just looked and seen who this person is, and we play Among Us with them a lot. So I don't want to give my game away. But in terms of personas, I'd say JB's is just to act really silly and stupid. Like, where's this? How do you do this?
No, I genuinely don't know.
So that's how he kind of tries to cover it up. I just try and like find who else it could be. Who else is acting strange? Who else hasn't been seen, like, that I know is in quite a shaded area of the board or something?
Yeah. I mean, I like the game a lot. I think it's more about who you're playing with versus the game. Because, I don't know, I'm not mad about the airship level, to be honest.
I love the airship.
Why?
I think it's an amazing addition. I mean, the Skeld is my favourite ultimately, just because we know that so well. Do you know what? The airship's actually taken it over. Airship's my favourite, Skeld second.
Why?
So, just because I think I enjoy the newness. It's obviously a bit bigger. And I think because I guess I had a few practice runs, I feel like I knew it better than a lot of the people we were playing with. So I could kind of use that to my advantage. My one issue with the game is I just want to be the imposter more.
Yeah, I've had moments where I've done the whole night of playing and I've not been the imposter once. Or last time we played for like 50 games and I wasn't the imposter until we started doing hide and seek.
And you hate hide and seek.
Yeah. So the last question is, what is the last movie you saw and what did you like about it?
I think the last movie we saw, I want to say Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, ready for Smash or Pass this week.
Yeah, to catch it on Saturday.
Woo!
And I obviously, you know, Daphne. I like Daphne.
You're disgusting. I'd say that the good thing about the movie, I think at the time for me, was because I was young when it first came out, so I could kind of see the transformation into the technological era. And so to see that showcased on the movie was quite cool.
See, I like the movie in general, but we actually took time to watch the bonus features of the disc, and it was so fascinating to see them all in the recording studio and how they were directed. That part was awesome.
It was.
I like that. So, I guess that does it for this episode of the 5 Star Talk podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. So sorry if you know I sound knackered because I've got such a bad headache, and I think it's the beginning of the end. But we will be back next week to discuss a topic that we haven't really decided yet. Maybe something new will be announced, or some mad things will happen with Metopia.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say about our podcast is we don't really determine the topic unless we have a guest until sometimes hours before, because we want to see what's happening. So this is actually recorded 3 hours before the premiere, just because we do like to keep it really up to date if we can. So I guess if there's any topics that you want to hear us talk about, you can comment them below. And also if you have any questions for next week's Q&A, you can also comment them on any of our videos, and JB will put live posts out later in the week. So guys, we hope you enjoy the rest of your week. We will again be posting our next episode on Sunday, so don't miss that as well. And remember, for Variety Nintendo content, please like, comment and subscribe.
JB and Miller.